This is the Backroom crew on Turn on Paper.
And questioning Wes's life choices.
Yeah. Anyway, today we got some news that is very interesting.
No, what? You just
Hi,
this is the Backroom crew. My name's Andre. This is Wistry, and that's DB. We're here to bring news to you.
Uncut.
Apparently I'm an ass because I didn't introduce these two guys, even though you probably know who they are already.
Yeah, you ass.
Okay.
Assumptions.
I mean, you got to think about it like this. You know, every show, you got to introduce everyone. Doesn't matter if they've been there all the time. You've seen Whose Lines in Anyway. They have the same people up there, but they still say who they are.
Look, I will do what I think is right, and that wasn't right.
You just mad because you the Colin Mockery of the group.
I am sorry. Oh, Colin Mockery, that sucks. You suck. Anyway, so first with the news, we have Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are all joining forces with their elite status of game console prowess to unite to team up against the DDoS hacks.
Shit just got real.
Yes, they aren't playing around anymore.
Well, hey, you know what they're doing? Because nothing's going to change.
Because, truthfully, I don't even know why Nintendo's involved. They haven't touched Nintendo.
Well, pretty much it's like this. Sony is like crawling out of a cave and getting dragged back in over and over. Microsoft is like getting pecked by birds, but then they're just like swatting them away, and they're still on like.
No, remember
PDA.
they got hit by the same DDoS attack that knocked out Sony.
Yeah, but still they're not worried about it because it's like they're getting pecked by birds while they're on their like game system or whatever like that. Like, go away. Go away. And then you got Nintendo, which is just
that means
like,
that you didn't
hey
hear.
Guys, what you guys doing?
That means you didn't hear. Because remember I told you I was talking to that streamer, Nekobun, and he wasn't able to do some of his streaming because Xbox Live is currently having issues with their verification servers.
Mm-hmm.
So people can no longer for the last 2 weeks certain people have not been able to re-up on their Xbox Live subscriptions. People have not been able to, if they bought something online, play the thing they've bought because there's something wrong with the servers and they don't know when it's going to be fixed.
So did they say this was Lizard Squad that started this?
Nope. They haven't said a word.
Oh.
And that's the reason why everybody believes that Microsoft doesn't have problems.
Well,
because they don't talk about it. It's like that 1950s house where the dad's beating everybody, but everybody puts on a brave face and goes to school in.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, they've basically eliminated the threats that they've had quickly. They've taken them out very quickly. I mean, look at the
nature of a DDoS attack means that any sufficient amount of computers can be used to initiate a DDoS. Mm-hmm. Which means that unless they're willing to freaking shunt their servers very quickly, it does nothing. Because if they've got new tech and it's a bonus defense versus DDoS, Microsoft is going to want to sell it. If they sell it, they're going to have to describe how it works. If they describe how it works, vulnerabilities will be identified and exploited, and whatever defense the system brings will no longer be useful.
Yeah.
So they can say they're joining forces, forming the Triforce of Courage. Nothing. It's the nature of networks. Unless you're going to lock down the network beyond any form of usability, because guess what? Security and usability are at odds with each other. The more security you have, the less usability. Because who really wants to put in 5 passwords every time they want to log into that goddamn console?
Well, who wants to get updates like every single damn day?
That's why I got PS Plus, I'm going to be honest. It updates at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
I play my Wii U, so.
It updates at like 4 in the morning when I'm still sleeping, so it doesn't bother me. But
I should updates while I'm sleeping too, so.
Yeah. But like what I learned was that when dealing with security, you have to always be aware that if it's on an online space, it's not completely secure. It's never secure. The rule of thumb that everybody knows is once it's on the internet, it doesn't go off. So whatever you're sticking on the internet will always be on the internet. Therefore, it will always be vulnerable. That's the problem with always on consoles. That's the problem with frickin' Diablo 3 had when it first launched. That's the problem with the new SimCity had. Maxis is dead because of this new SimCity. Just gone. It's gone. SimCity killed it.
Yeah.
Any game that requires always on DRM is at risk of not performing as advertised because it is online. Therefore, it is vulnerable. There's nothing you can say. There's no technology in the world that can prevent that from happening.
That is true.
So
anything
people hate to hear it, but there is no perfect solution. There is none. Therefore, you have to accept that things will go wrong. Things will be offline. You will not be able to access your Pokemon if you play a Pokemon MMO, and then somebody gets a stick up his ass and decides to bomb the servers.
Moo. Well, at least they're trying. Better than them doing nothing about the situation. They can just sit around twiddling their thumbs and just take in money. But with them actually wanting to unify to do this, I mean, come on. When else have these game companies actually worked together?
You know what they could unify and do? Make freaking global servers.
Yeah.
That would solve a lot more issues.
The resources to make that, though.
It doesn't take...
I'm just asking.
Server architecture is server architecture is server architecture. It doesn't change. Especially with the new consoles. They're just PCs. Server architecture doesn't change just because you have an Xbox or you have a PlayStation. Server architecture is the same. The only thing that's different is login.
Right.
They could make a universal login if they wanted to, but they don't because that might make them lose customers.
Because they can get any system that they want.
But it extends the lifetime. It extends the lifetime of the software. If everybody can play with everybody else. If you buy a game on one console, but you can play on the other console. That's the reason why Skylanders did so well. Yeah. Because regardless of what console your friend had, if he had a copy of Skylanders, you could play your guy. That is value. I keep doing this, and I don't know why.
Well, with value, we can talk about the value of best-selling games and systems for the month of February. Top system, PlayStation 4.
Obviously.
Yet again.
Yeah.
But,
then again, I could blame the movie Chadwick for that because they had a shit ton of PS4s in that movie.
Well, it was made by Sony, so.
But then again, Sony also won the PR war during the pre-launch E3. And on top of that, even though Microsoft has a more secure track record, the Xbox hardware has been proven to be less robust than the PlayStation hardware. The same way it was, I believe, less robust in the last hardware generation as well. But remember, guys, you can always watch your ESPN and play Madden. Everybody loves Madden, right?
No. I don't play sports games.
Yeah.
I play fighters.
Well, the top 10 games for the month, I go from the bottom up. Number 10, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate.
I'm actually shocked about that.
You figured it'd be higher, right?
Yeah, I figured it'd be at least 6. And I'm just being
actually,
nice.
Well, a lot of games came
Monster
out
Hunter. No, actually, here's the. Did you take a look at the Japanese stats real quick? Because God Eater 2 knocked Monster Hunter off of the Japanese top 10 list.
Oh.
God Eater 2, like freaking just like I think Monster Hunter was number 1 for a week, and then God Eater 2 just came in there. Get out.
Then again, not God Eater. Monster Hunter 4 has been out in Japan longer than it's been out here anyway.
Yeah.
But I think God Eater 2 is out over there already. If you could, I don't know, look it up real quick.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Next in the list would be The Order 1886.
Huh.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see that high definition rendered 3D penis.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they cut. It was one of the cutscenes. They busted on this dude and this chick having sex.
Huh.
And he pulled out, and that shit was modeled very well, apparently.
And considered that the game is pretty much almost all cutscenes.
It's a Asura's Wrath. Apparently, it's a Sora's Wrath, a third-person cover shooter.
Oh.
Next game, and this is weird why this is up here. Minecraft.
Minecraft has always been a bestseller, though.
Yeah. Creative freedom.
Yeah. Next up is a game that we're familiar with, Dragonball Xenoverse.
Well,
Solid game.
It's a game that y'all are familiar with. I still got to get into it myself.
Why don't you try it? You could have played it more.
I'm like it. I'm going to get it myself. I just got to figure out what system I want to get it for.
Yeah, but see, like, you'll see it. What I was hoping for is that you'd play it long enough to see it. The combat mechanics aren't there yet.
I noticed that when I was playing.
Like, the gears are there and everything's spinning,
They
but
do
they're not...
seem a little bit clunky.
Pretty much the wheel's turning, but the hamster's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if they could... they could probably patch it, because this is the generation... These are the generations of just after-launch patching.
Yeah.
If they could tighten up the mechanics, because, like, I mean, imagine, and she constantly does this thing when I'm, like, trying to go this way, or I'm comboing, but I need to turn around, and it's not responding to the fact that I want to twist and fight. So instead, I'm, like, flailing this way. I'm trying to stop, and I can't stop. And then when I want to go fire, like, throw a punch this way, I'm throwing it this way. And then all I can think of is the fact that I fired up my PlayStation 2 and played Budokai Tenkaichi 2, and the fighting was so tight
Well,
and controlled.
That could also be your controllers.
No, the one I use, the pink one. I play with a pink controller. The pink one is, there, because I live in the house of all boys, nobody wanted to use the pink controller to play, so apparently, because nobody used the pink controller to play Diablo, it still works.
Ah, okay. But, let me continue. NBA 2K15. Sports game. Grand Theft Auto 5.
For what console?
All consoles.
Huh.
I can see it.
PS4, Xbox One, 360, and PS3. Next up, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
We don't talk about Call of Duty.
Not surprising. It's not bad. Don't hate on it.
I'm not hating on it. I just don't play it.
Now.
It's essentially, at this point, it's essentially a sci-fi shooter.
It's
not.
That's what
If they add... They're about this far away from replacing all the stupid guns with cool laser guns.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
They just have to get rid of that last piece of Michael Bay influence, and then maybe they'll have a decent product.
Well, they do it like that, and it won't be called Modern Warfare anymore. It'll be Advanced Warfare.
It is Advanced Warfare.
But it's still called Modern Warfare.
Because people won't buy something that isn't called Modern Warfare.
Exactly.
It's the same way that if you renamed Madden Football Sim 2015, people wouldn't buy it because it doesn't have Madden on the front. They look at Madden and they think quality, so they buy it.
Yep, it's a brand.
And so EA gets away with it for another year by releasing another incremental statistical update for $60.
Top 3 games. Dying Light.
It's a good version of.
I've seen gameplay of it, like a lot of gameplay.
There's
of
a
it.
lot
Have
of
you played Dead
references in
Island?
that game.
Yeah,
It's Dead Island mixed with Mirror's Edge, from what I hear.
yeah. Dead Island mixed with Mirror's Edge, but it's not like you have to keep running like Mirror's Edge is. Like keep parkouring.
Oh, okay. I was about to say because you're not nearly as powerful as you were in.
Oh
Dead
no,
Island.
but this one they basically took the zombies and made them so that hey, you're not safe on top of cars or
yeah, but there's still
buildings.
pushovers. The big thing was the nighttime cycle where they turn into super killers.
Yeah, pretty much. The side missions that I've seen in them is really crazy. Like they've got extra missions in it, which are like just mostly they're killing sprees, but they're specific base killing sprees. So next up, Evolve for number 2,
Pretty much a digital game of hide and seek.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's
which
still up.
pretty much
Is
everybody
this
plays
last
Monster.
month's numbers or this?
Yeah,
month's
this is
just
February's.
okay. I can see that.
February's. And the top number 1 game is
Smash, Majora's Mask, what?
Majora's Mask for 3DS.
Damn right it is.
It's just like, is there music it's supposed to?
Damn right it is.
And then you get jacked and all your stuff goes missing.
Oh no. So, yeah, basically those were the top 10 games. I kind of found this list interesting because a lot of these games are kind of old.
Like, it's early in the year. Nothing really new or interesting is going to be coming out in droves.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to console releases or even game releases. I'm looking at stuff that's already come out that's going on sale.
I'm actually looking at this one game. I forgot what it's called. X-Blaze? It's supposed to be a it's supposed to be with the timeline
of X-Blaze. It's a visual novel. Just be warned. It's not a game in the classic sense. It's a book. Oh. Because there's a demo on the PSN. You can play it. Like, I was like, yo, this is a story about Blaze Blue? Okay, this might be tight. This might be cool. Literally chapter 1 of a book.
Huh.
Replete with voice acting, so I got really irritated because I feed faster than freaking voice actors do. And it's just,
Still gotta pick up Akiba Strip.
Well, let's
talk about Dragon's Dogma Online.
Well,
they released another trailer. Yes, they released another trailer.
Okay.
And on top of that, if you look closely at the trailer, it's English dubbed.
Really
so
now?
Even though to top it all off, they've also released stuff. They also said they're going to run open beta for DDO for anybody with a Japanese PSN account. So I'm gonna figure out how to do that bullshit and get that taken care of because I want in. You could have all the moon runes up in that game you want. I'm still gonna jump on that dragon and stab it in the friggin' eye. I know you bitches want to put dragons on all that shit.
Have you played any of that?
I never played Dragon's Dogma.
I'll let you borrow my copy.
It's actually kind of fun.
Yeah. Do you like Monster Hunter? Okay, it's one of the best descriptions I've ever heard. It's Monster Hunter for people who don't like Monster Hunter.
Huh.
Because, like, for instance, there's multiple classes. You can switch between classes. Like, the easiest one I think to get into would be the fighter class. I know. And the big thing about the fighter class is that it shares a lot with the combat style from Devil May Cry, except it also adds actual physical blocking. So you can get into serious, like, sword duels with especially some of the larger.
That's why I said that.
But yeah, you can get into some serious sword duels with some of the more interesting characters. And if you set it to hard mode at the beginning, which you can do with the Dark Arisen content.
Start that over. So we can at least add it together. Go ahead.
Okay. You can get into sword duels with some of the more interesting characters. And if you set it on hard mode at the beginning, especially if you don't know the game is hyper lethal. The difficulty curve evens out as you gain levels. About level 70, everything slowly starts to become a kind of a cakewalk. But by that point, you can beat the main story and then go into the extra content, which is very well designed. And on top of that, it also has New Game Plus modes, as well as the main game itself having an extra mode. So the main game you have the main story, the extra after story that you can do, and on top of that, the Dragon's Dogma, the Dark Arisen content, which you can go through. Like, it's not nearly as random as the base game is, but the design is tighter, and when you go into the New Game Plus, the enemy arrangement is changed. The Dark Arisen content is lethal as it stands, especially if you go in there early, and then the New Game Plus stuff gets even more so the challenge is there even after you get good. Like I said, I got it on the PlayStation. I'll let you borrow it.
Sounds really good because I remember playing it. It is actually a fun game. So,
which according to certain sources, some people say it sold better outside the country than it did in Japan. Some people say it sold better in Japan than it did outside Japan. I don't care. You done released freaking Dragon's Dogma Quest for freaking the Vita. You didn't release it over here, Capcom. You're coming out with Dragon's Dogma Online. You ain't releasing that over here, Capcom. I want to give you fucking money. You're not taking my money. I want to give it to you.
Take our money, please.
Why won't you take it?
Take our money, please. Take it.
Well, I don't know.
let's go ahead. That'll be the end of this one. We'll be back with you guys a little later. Remember, Sos in class, act like you've been somewhere before.
Hit that like button.